Hello. So this one is going to be on the philosophical idea of equivalent exchange, which simply just means that if you want to get anything or do anything, you have to exchange something of equal value. Generally, this is your time, this is your work, energy, money, etc., etc. And the more refined of a person you are, the higher level of a person, the cheaper everything becomes and the easier it is to get. For example, the more you understand money, the better time you have with it. You can, for example, if you're very thrifty, you can buy things a lot cheaper. You can, haggle back in the day, or nowadays it's just finding the best place to buy something, for example, or finding the best things, the best value for money. So everything costs money or costs some kind of currency to some extent. Listening to this video is costing you a kind of currency, but it's a symbiotic, is that the correct word? Maybe a harmonic, like harmony exchange, where you're receiving occultic knowledge and I'm receiving internet power or something like that. It's why that if you watch a person's video or engage in some kind of social media thing, I see the like button like a kind of payment. I genuinely do like things if I like them, or I share things if I generally want to share it, but there is definitely that subconscious element that it is giving power to something. The more you like and share something, the more viral it goes, the more power it has. This is why cultural and political movements can be started through the internet, because they gain power through people's, sharing and liking, and through using the algorithm to a benefit. Another thing I could gain is money, for example. Of course, I exchange things for money, but that's how it works. This is business. Business is exchanging things for money or other goods, bartering. That's why people think, some people think, oh, why don't we just go back to a barter system? And go back to a barter system if you want. Go ahead. Try to barter your rice for beans. Only problem is, if you're selling things over the internet, it's a little bit difficult. You both have to ship things, and ultimately you can have to pay shipping fees. So money's not a bad thing. It's just you need to learn the game, and this equivalent exchange really is learning the game. For example, in relationships and socialization, if you aren't getting what you want out of a relationship, or you're not getting enough of what you want for what you give, then that relationship becomes invalid. It essentially becomes no good anymore. And you have to cut it off, because some people can be very needy, they can be very wanting, and sometimes people give you the wrong things. For example, if you have a romantic relationship, assumably you want love and sex. Those are the two key stones. And then if you want to have a family relationship, you want a stable household and children. If these things aren't provided, then you could discuss the terms and conditions, you can discuss the relationship, etc. Otherwise, if the things aren't going to be provided but you want them, then you're just going to have to cut that off. So in this way, the traditional relationship kind of standard was that the man would provide safety, security, and money. Excuse me, and he would usually craft or fix things around the home. He would put in a farm foods, etc., etc. Generate resources, chop wood, stone, get dirt, all that kind of stuff. And the woman would provide nurturing and raising of children, I mean, both people provide intimacy and sex, but traditionally, sex is related to the yin, to water, excuse me, and intimacy and love and nurturing. All these are related to the water and the yin quality, which women excel in. So traditionally, it would be seen that women would be providing this part. You know, women would also, nurture children, they would understand how to preserve foods, create clothing. Back in the day, if you didn't have a clothing shop, you were just a little village, you would probably all be wearing brown flax and potato sacks, or hammocks, or what they call a smock or something, I forget. Those things that kids wear in art class. You'd all be wearing like brown flax robes or something, I don't know, something like that. So both partners have to play some kind of role. They have to do some kind of thing. What happens if your wife just one day says, nope, I don't want to feed the kids, I don't want to raise the kids, I'm just going to go off into the sunset and you know, have fun? Or the man says, no, I don't want to make money, I don't want to fix the house, you know, there's an invader at the door, I can't be bothered fending him off, you know, I'm just gonna sit around and scratch my balls, you know, and do nothing. Well, the relationships get stretched, and love is the rubber. It's like a rubber ball. How much can you stretch a rubber ball at two ends, or can you stretch like slime? Relationship with more love has more flexibility and stretchability. You know, if a husband loses his job, there's more of a buffer, and depending on how high level the people are, how wealthy they are, how much, you know, excess stored they have more of that buffer, and etc, etc. So basically, you know, things don't work if people don't work. Things don't work if they're not getting properly exchanged. It's kind of a nasty thing to get over at first. I had one night where I was a bit emotional, but oh, the world is painful and horrible, and everything is conditional in exchange. It's like, yes, to some extent, to a subconscious extent. Realistically, when you're living, you don't think about these things, they don't play into, you know, life, but they do exist. You know, if you maybe have friends and you do things with them and it's not satisfactory, you're going to feel bad. You're not really going to hang out with them. Similarly, if you don't give them what they want, if you're not like playing the games they play, talking about the things they want to talk to some extent, then they're going to feel left out and bored and such, and they're not going to want friends. And that's just the natural way things work. You know, you don't make friends with people who you don't want to be friends with. Now this happens with jobs and money and work and such. You provide a service, you sell a skill that you have in exchange for money, or a product in exchange for money. Somehow you execute and you manage to make money off doing something. You've used your time and energy and skills and such to do this, so it's all an equivalent exchange. Of course, everything in reality has another layer of reality-ishness, which is that, just say if you have some kind of abusive boss and you can't stand up for yourself, then you are taking more than you're taking on more work than you can handle, and you're not getting as much as you should. Now this is called reality. If you can't exert yourself, and if you just naturally aren't a very strong person, you don't have a strong personality or body or mind, then it's very difficult to get ahead and to get more in reality, because people will take advantage of you. People will try to get more out of you than you get of them. There aren't too many harmonic people, but there are some, you know, some mediators. It's a very Libran quality. So you have to have that in your heart. Either you need to be getting more out of people, or you need to be getting what you want out of people, or you need to be getting some kind of equal exchange. You've got to, you know, so you've got to think about that way. If you're not getting what you want or an equal exchange, then you either need to negotiate and fix it, or you need to finish that exchange. So anyway, I hope this gives you some ideas to think about. Of course, this exists in the lower subconscious level, the more materialistic physical, but it does definitely exist. So you can kind of look at it in your own relationships. Of course, don't get jaded and think that everything must follow this and everything is like this. There is some give to it. And as I said, there is that, it's like the rubberiness, the amount of love, the amount of like selflessness, so to speak. But definitely in today's age, where if there are less resources, this happens more, as in things become much more calculated, and it gets salted and much more exchange worthy. While when we're in nice ages, which will come, things will get a little bit less this, or a lot less this, and because there'll be lots of resources. Right now, if you don't make resources, you really can't have a relationship. If you can't provide a good service, you can't make money. We live in a very difficult time right now. It's not, you can't just go off into the woods and chop up a house, because most people genetically just aren't strong enough to do that anymore, so it's difficult to live free. Anyway, we do the best we can, and the more you learn about reality, the more you improve. So anyway, of course, if you would like to perform some kind of other equal exchange or business service, check the links down below. Feel free to comment. I have my email. Feel free to check out my divination services on Fiverr and my products on Gumroad. And of course, feel free to donate if you want to. Otherwise, have a nice day.